new bike day and you've decided to splurge on an electronic drivetrain. You've got your bike all put together, it's almost ready to ride, but you've got a few questions about how to make your Di2 system work. I'm going to show you where your battery might be located on the bike, where to charge it from, and how to change various shift modes. The first thing to know is where your battery is going to be located. This is most typically going to be inside of the seat post or somewhere in the seat tube if you have a bike with an integrated seat post. Sometimes you might also find a battery located in the down tube or forward of the bottom bracket. At this stage, we'll go ahead and show the location of the battery that is located in the seat post. It'll probably come shipped from us disconnected so that we can ship the bike in a smaller box. So this is a critical step, and if your Di2 isn't working correctly right out of the box, this is the first thing that I would suggest that we check. So here we can see the Di2 wire coming out of the battery. Most of the time, we will most likely have the Di2 wire taped to the top tube to keep it from getting lost inside of the frame. And now it will be connected into the battery here. I like to use this tool, which if you can get it from a bike shop, allows you to slide the connector in and just have a more solid connection. But it's not required. You can just do this by hand as well. We can go ahead and connect it in by hand. We want it to go into the battery and make a click. It might not always be super audible, but you can feel it. And you can also go ahead and shift your derailleur up and down just to confirm that it's connected and powered up. At this stage, there is going to be one thing that we should look for that can be a common problem, especially for round seat posts that maybe don't have the best battery retention inside of them. And that is that sometimes the battery can get shoved from the very end of the seat post up inside a little bit. So when it's in this configuration, you might not actually see it too carefully without looking down into the seat post like that. You might even need a flashlight if it's really buried. At this stage, you can usually grab some sort of a tool and carefully extend it back out. And then from this stage, we can get into a more manageable position and connect our battery. Once we're at this stage, you can carefully grab the Di2 wire, wind it back into the seat tube, and get your seat post reinstalled, being aware that there's wires in here that can get pinched as you get it on down. So you just want to make sure there's no binding and the seat post does go in carefully. In this case, we have a wedge that goes in there, but if you have a clamp, you don't need to worry about that. And we'll go ahead and tighten that back down and torque that to the proper value. Now that we've got the seat post reinstalled, the next question is, how do we charge the bike? In this case, there's a few different places that you can find the A junction, which is where a 12-speed Shimano system is charged from. On this bike, it is located at the bar ends. This is a round end cap that takes the place of the usual plugs. To charge it, you will locate a small door below this upper button that opens up and has the charging port located right there. And when it begins charging, it'll flash a couple of lights to let you know, and there will be an orange light illuminated on the Di2 charger itself. Moving on here, I will mention that there are a couple other places where this A junction can be located. A lot of bikes will have it located under the stem, and that'll be a square box. It operates the exact same way, with a couple of slight variations in where the door for the charging port is located and where the button is located, but the light indicators all feature the same functionality. You might also find the A junction on the top of the down tube, right in front of your bottle cage. Or, and this is really only for specialized tarmacs, they can also have the A junction located at the top of the seat post. Once we have it fully charged, there's a few extra bits that are helpful to know. The key feature here is how do you check battery level on the fly, and how would you actually adjust the derailleur in case the shifting isn't quite right. Checking the charge level is as simple as pushing and holding any of the shift buttons, which will illuminate the left side light and show you the charge level. If it's between 80 and 100%, it'll illuminate solid green. If it's between 20 and 80%, it'll be a flashing green light. And when the battery is critically low, that light will be red. A couple notes on charging the bike. It's probably the first thing that you'll do after locating the A junction is to go ahead and try to plug in your charger to make sure that your battery is fully charged before you go out for your first ride. A couple notes on this charger are it only has 2 lights on it. One light is the charging light that'll be illuminated orange as you're charging the bike, and it will not illuminate anymore once the bike is fully charged. The next light is an error light. You hope you never see that one, but that'll be a red light and your battery won't be charging. To fix that problem, you will want to take the bike to a bike shop so that your service technician can go ahead and plug it in to their version of eTube on a computer and get a better idea of what's going on, because that does indicate a malfunction. So once you have it charging, if your battery has been disconnected, that orange light will never illuminate, or it might illuminate very briefly and then turn off immediately. At that stage, you can go back to step 1, locate your battery, and make sure that it is plugged into the eTube wire correctly. Shimano has 3 shift modes available. One is fully manual, in which case you control the front derailleur and rear derailleur fully independently of each other, just like any normal mechanically operated bike you might be used to. One thing that you can also see is after that initial illumination, it shows this other light here, the red and the green light, and that will show your shift mode. If you double click this button, it'll change the shift modes to shift mode 2, which is semi-synchro shift mode, and shift mode 3. Shift mode 3 is going to be full synchro mode. In the stand now, we have Shimano's newest drivetrain offering, which is almost the same, still Di2, but this is going to be 12-speed. The charging port is now down here at the back of the rear derailleur, hidden under a small door. The cable clips in facing upwards. It's not super positive, but it won't fall out once you have it engaged correctly. And then you can plug it into your charging device, and a blue light will now be illuminating on the back of the derailleur, showing the charging status. Once that's all charged, we can disconnect it, and there is a small button right above the charging port on the outside of the bike, and that will give you your shift modes and shifting indicators. The logic is exactly the same as on 11-speed, where a double click changes between fully manual, semi-synchro, and synchro shift modes. A single press of the button, instead of holding a shift button, now indicates your battery level. In this case, it's orange, so we should probably add some more juice to this one. Pressing and holding that button engages your shift adjustment modes, indicated by a yellow light, and that way you can compensate for any differences in a slightly bent derailleur hanger or just the shifting being a little bit off due to drivetrain wear. A single press exits that mode and you're ready to ride. However, I would like to note that if there are any more changes you want to make and you have more questions about your bike, there is an app eTube project that you should be able to download from the App Store that allows you to configure the controls a little bit more to your liking and make minor software updates as needed. That said, major software updates will require a trip to your local bike shop. And now, if you still have any questions, definitely feel to reach out to us and talk to one of our ride guides, and they can help you out with any questions you might still have.